If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Good evening and welcome to episode 453 of Picks and Ponies, right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. I am your very proud host, Howard Kravitz. Thank you very much for joining us tonight as Triple Crown season and the road to the Kentucky Derby is starting to get into big time full swing. We are here tonight to cover the fantastic late pick 5 at Oaklawn, not Saturday, but Friday. That is tomorrow, as we're filming here live at 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. We're here to cover the Friday late pick 5 at Oaklawn, rescheduled from last weekend. What a pick 5 this is. What an incredible sequence with huge fields and stake races abound. Of course, led by the $1 million Kentucky Derby prep, the Southwest Stakes. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, notification bell on the top right, and smash that like button below the video player. We very much appreciate you watching. I know you have a lot of choices on YouTube and on listening platforms, on many different horse racing podcasts to listen to. We appreciate that you've chosen to watch and or listen to the HHH Racing Podcast this evening. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. You can follow us on X at HHH Racing Pod. Let me bring on my two co-hosts because we have quite the sequence to talk about. First, donning it looks like a hat of a certain football team, perhaps his favorite team, that is playing in Super Bowl 60, I believe, this Sunday, or the big game. Let's bring him in from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the Saratoga Special, Mr. Paul Halloran, and not his team, not in the Super Bowl. Neither is my team, but still a fan of the NFL and, of course, horses from the East Coast of Maryland, Mr. Pete Visco. Oh, we lost Paul already. Pete, how you doing tonight? There he is.
I'm good. What's going on, guys? Hey, Paul.
Hey, Pete.
Nice
Paul,
to see you.
How you feeling about Sunday, Paul?
They're going to win.
Wow. Okay, there you go. Easily or just close or, you know?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, they've been in nothing but close games. But I think 2 weeks to prepare for Sam Darnold. I'm going to take our chances.
I like the Patriots' chances. I'm siding with Seattle a little bit. Not from a rooting interest or a betting interest, just I think they're going to win, but I think it's going to be a close game and it's going to be a good game. Gentlemen, I'll tell you what also is good, actually better than good. This Oaklawn late pick 5, whoo, I don't know how long it took you guys to handicap these 5 races and come up with a top 3, but I thought it was very difficult. Of course, the Southwest Stakes is the headliner. Also, right after the show at 9:30 Eastern, is Wire to Wire. Myself and Noah Maher will talk about a very fun coast-to-coast pick 5 this Saturday at San Anita at Gulfstream. Please don't go anywhere after the show, or you can go somewhere for 30 minutes, take a little break, and then come back. Pete, you have a rooting interest at all in the Super Bowl as we get to our handicapping here?
No, I pretty much hate both teams, but I do like Sam Darnold, and I am rooting for I'm in a fantasy final head-to-head against someone, so I'm basically just rooting for players to try and win my fantasy final, and then we'll see if any money goes. I don't even think I want to bet the game necessarily. I don't really care. From a rooting standpoint, I don't really care, but I do like Sam Darnold, and I'll be rooting for him, and I kind of hate the Patriots, I'm sorry to say, Paul, but what are you going to do?
They hate us because they ain't us.
Maybe.
I would say Pete doesn't like the Patriots because of all the Hall of Fame. Oh no, I guess they don't have Hall of Famers lately. Sorry.
No.
Their owner's going to have to wait. Anyway,
I tend to hate every team in the cities where I lived in my life. If that means anything. So
right.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That'll do it.
Guys, we got a lot to talk about. Let's get to it right now because this late pick 5 is really good. Again, this is for Friday. We almost never do this, ladies and gentlemen. A show where less than 24 hours before the races start. That's just the way it laid out tonight. So if you're listening to this on Friday night or Saturday morning as a replay, thinking, "Hey, we're going to get great info for the Saturday card," sorry, you will not. You missed the boat. I try to make announcements on X and to all of our email emailers as well. So this is for Friday, Oaklawn late pick 5. Let's get into it right now, guys. It's going to start in race 8. And there are several stakes in this sequence. Some of them are graded, some of them are not. This is one of the listed stakes. It's the General MacArthur overnight, 1.125 on the dirt for older horses. They've never won a sweepstake other than state bred or restricted. No surprise, you're going to hear this a lot. A big field of 11. The morning line favorite is the number 5, Sir Greyland. However, I do have some information about Sir Greyland that I will mention here in just a minute. The second choice is an Indiana bred, the number 11, First Division. I almost said First Mission. First Division for McPeak and Esquivel. Now, as I bring you guys on, Sir Greyland is cross-entered into an allowance race on Saturday against the venerable Sandman, who's coming back. And from what I understand, my intel tells me that Sir Greyland is not, I repeat, is not going to be running in this stake race and is going to go to the allowance instead. I'm not 100% positive about that. That's why I've heard from 2 people that are relatively reliable. So we shall see. We'll just act as if he is in the race. But if the number 5, Sir Greyland, who's a horse actually had our tip sheet 2 back and ran very well, didn't run as well last time, he would be the favorite at post time, you would think, if he's in. Again, here's the field if Sir Greyland is in. Let's go to our picks right now, guys, and I'll tell you what, we're off to a rip-roaring start because we are energized, people. We are very energized. I'm going 8-3-11. Pete's going 8-3-5, and Paul's going 8-5-11. We are all going with an 8-1 shot. Energized for Mr. Stidham, Mr. Saez, and a group of people that are named Godolphin. Paul's shaking his head. We're definitely not getting 8-1 for 2 reasons, Paul. Number 1, we've all got this one. And number 2, I think Sir Greyland is a scratch. So I think we're looking at somewhere around 4 or 5-1, which I think for all of us would be probably as low as we'd go, but we'd be absolutely fine. What do you like about Energized, Paul, to kick off the late 5?
Well, I love having all this company on Team Godolphin. This is great. I really do feel better. I don't want to say I feel less clever, Pete, because that would come off the wrong way.
It's funny, Paul, because I thought this was the toughest race, and I can't believe we all landed in the same spot. This is the one where I had the most A's in this one, so I had the hardest time narrowing this race down. So I can't believe it.
Yes, I could see that, but I think the race 2 back was obviously really good, and different surface last time on the Turfway synthetics. Chris Stidham does run there, but I just think this house hasn't done a lot wrong. I think that, again, going back to that Churchill race, a 95 looks formidable here if he can duplicate that. It was 2 losses sandwiched around that race. Both horses came back to win. He came back to win from 2 back. You get Saez, who rode him in that race at Churchill. I just thought they were Pete. I just added up all those positives and landed there.
Yeah. You want me to go? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
threw it
agree.
to you, Pete. I love it.
No, it's crazy, but I agree. I was looking at this horse and I thought maybe you get the 8-1 because of the last race, because you saw the dip in the buyer and the 3rd place finish. But again, that was on the scent, and there were 2 next out runners out of that race only, and both of them came back to win with, I think, 93 buyers, something like that. So at least that race came back okay. And the one thing I liked, I think, if you look from a figure standpoint, both time form and buyers, so you can almost sort of rely on it a little more. Each race, this horse has gotten better. If you look only at the dirt races, if you toss the last one and you look at the dirt races, incrementally has gotten better and better from a figure standpoint, from a result standpoint. I think the horse is pretty tactical. So the only thing I worry about is it's really slow pace, but I think this horse can sit close enough to where this can be one of the ones that attacks on the turn and maybe sort of gets a jump on any of the deeper closers. So I think there's a lot to like here. And again, it's only 6 races, so I think there's a little bit of upside here, whereas maybe some of the other ones, a little bit more of what they are at this point.
That's the thing for me. It's the upside. He keeps getting better. You
By
guys
the way,
know
the
I
works too, Howard. I don't know if you were going to mention them. Since that last race, the works there have been some beautiful works. So it just seems to be holding the form. Sorry to cut you off there, but I wanted to mention that.
Well, it's interesting you brought up the works, guys, and this is going to be a common theme. I got to bring you guys on here. Actually, I'm going to go full screen for you guys here. This is something very important to talk about for Saturday and everyone, or excuse me, for Friday. And people have got to make up their mind here, guys, because as we know, the horses based at Oaklawn missed a good 6-7 days of training because of the cold. I am going to favor horses that are coming from out of town. Now, you know, horses are used to a routine, Paul. You know this better than the three of us. You're on the backstretch all the time. You know, they can walk the schedule. They've got an equicizer. I mean, they can get on the horsey treadmill and whatnot. That's not the same as getting out on the track. I'm sure these horses are feeling fine, and they're probably, 90-95%. But that extra 5% that I worry about when you're talking about races that are going to be decided by a length or two, I think it's going to matter. We'll find out if it matters on Friday, but it is something to consider, Paul. How much are you taking that in consideration, as Pete very aptly mentioned, horses that have missed, a week of training versus horses like Energize, who's coming from fairgrounds and didn't miss any training at all?
I think it's a factor, although I saw it. Cherie DeVoe replied to a tweet today. Nick Tamaro had a tweet indicating something like that. And Cherie said, yeah, you would think so. She said, but, we came in as the favorite in a race and got beat by someone who had been there. But no, I think it's a valid point, Howard. I'm glad you brought it up. They are, horses go to the track every day, barring, obviously the day after a race and the day after a work in most cases, right?
Right.
They don't work every day. They don't gallop every day. They may jog a day, but that they do go to the track. There are horses who want to go to the track at the same time every day. I hear that all the time from trainers. This one gets pissed if he's not the first one out. So I think it's a valid point. As you say, if in better races where the margin of error might be decreased, yes. Do I think? And you said how they didn't just miss a day or two. I mean, the weather down there is now it's going to be like 72, I think, Saturday after it had been like 27. But Jim Pilars, I reminded Jim that it's a Super Bowl hat. I didn't know if he forgot what that game was all about, being from Buffalo.
We got a new person in the chat. At least I haven't seen this. Good cat, with some underscores, by the way, Pete. Can't forget the underscores.
You got to.
Maybe Paul's trying to be one of those hipster types wearing a winter beanie indoors.
I am the least hipster person you know.
I don't think the word hipster and Paul necessarily go together, but
hey, Howard, you mentioned the 5, and I'll let you talk, but don't you think that race is a tougher race than this one? That allowance?
Sandman,
Echo again,
I didn't think that allowance race was really that tough, and this is a bigger field. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think he'd be a favorite in this race. I gotta be honest, I don't love him in either spot. There's not a lot of speed in this race, Pete. I hope Energize, by the way, is a little bit forward. I hope Saez looks at the form and says, hey, we can be a little forward.
I mean, having Saez helps with that, right? You expect.
Yeah, you would think. I don't want Energize too far back, guys. With Sir Grayland, if he's in as a shot, let's finish the conversation with the first division. I have him third. Paul, you have him third. Pete, you don't have him anywhere. He got the absolutely dream trip last time, guys, in a relatively small field. I don't think he can run any better than that. Now he gets the 11 hole. Paul, that's why I was against him a little bit. I understand people that like him more than I do. He's got certainly back class. He was in the freaking Arkansas Derby for that matter. But it just feels like what he did last time is the absolute top for him, unless he's just a horse on a major improve, and that's just the beginning of something special. I'm a little dubious of this one.
Yeah, I didn't love the spot out there, Howard. He definitely a board horse.
Agree.
Board horse for me. He did run well, as you point out, very astutely, as you always do. He did have a very good trip. So it's not a horse. I would be playing the horse defensively in the multis, but he certainly is. Off the long layoff, has come back with 2 good races.
P, you want to quickly talk about Super Cruise, and we'll go on to the second leg.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, again, I thought this was a tough one. I was a little bit against the 11 here, but this one 4 for 4 at Oaklawn, so definitely likes the track. It's got and every other race kind of thing going on. So this one points to loss, but did have a lifetime buyer top in the last. And I thought the wing that I liked in the last race was, if you watched it, and again, it's not a replay worth putting on the screen or anything, but just was ridden super confidently in that race. So it almost felt like when you watched it, when you watch a horse and you're like, man, he really just thinks, the jock really just thinks he's got something here. And it did. And he didn't win by a ton, but he did it sort of just nice and easy. And I thought that was impressive. And again, only 4 starts. So maybe this one, $575,000 purchase. This one could just be getting better. And again, if you get some improvement here, that'll put him right in the mix. So I think at least he's another one where upside is there. And he lost the first division 2 back, but
Yep.
I don't know. I thought that was one off a layoff since April. He came back sharper last time. And I have a little skeptical of first division going the 9 furlongs. So that's why I kind of like him to turn the tables here.
I only have 3-8 as my A's, Pete. I agree with you. I have a lot of B's though, so if it's not 3 or 8, it could be.
Yeah, I could see it.
It could be a lot of horses. And since we're in the mood of complimenting Howard, because Paul threw me a bone, had a nice little contest score last Saturday. Very
that was
happy
nice.
about
Congrats
that.
on that.
Thank you. Got a second entry in the KDBC, and I'm shooting for the NHC this weekend. So I have not qualified yet for the NHC, guys, and I've done it my first 3 years, and so. We got only a little over a month left. I better get going with that if I'm going to do it. So we'll see what happens. But thanks for all the well-wishers out there who sent some nice emails and DMs and whatnot. Anyway, that was through our good friends at Twin Spires, of course, who's got great contests again this weekend. Let's go on to race 9, guys. Race 9 is an allowance race, 6 furlongs. It's only a purse of $125K as Oaklawn makes their sort of comeback from a little bit of a hiatus, longer than they wanted, of course, with the weather. It's an allowance race, and it's a big field, of course, of 14, but 2 of them are on the AE list, including Zat's the 1, the 13, who I think is live if he gets in for D'Amato and Bejarano. And again, guys, because of the weather, it is very possible we might see a few scratches, guys, just because trainers are just saying, I don't want to take a chance running a horse that's not 100%. So we shall see. Vital Mind, the number 5, is probably be pretty tough to beat here. Will be the favorite. Might be as low as even money. I predict he's 8-5 in the morning line for Mr. Asperson and Jose Ortiz. Let's see where we're going. And again, boy, we're all the same. I don't think that's going to be a theme throughout this show, though, coming up here. But we're all going to go uncreatively with Vital Mind. But it's hard to blame us. I'm going 5-4-13. Pete's going 5-8-6. Paul's going 5-10-11. Pete, Vital Mind's just in really good form. He's just super logical. He's super tactical. There's really little to like about him other than the fact this is a big field, and I don't think he's any kind of cinch here.
No, definitely not a cinch, but the rest of the field, I think you could pretty much knock them. And if you're just sort of looking from a figure standpoint, which again, it's not like that's the end all be all, but just sort of sits above them a little bit. So I think that's what drives the 8-5 morning line. But yeah, this is a horse that, again, you look from a figure standpoint, time form and buyer, so at least it's maybe a little more reliable if you have both, have been steadily improving each race. Last race, again, hasn't even gotten much pace, and there's supposed to be some pace here. Now, time form has this horse in the mix of the pace, but the hope for me would be that this horse is the one that sits off a little bit, just off, not far back, like maybe there and lets the 8 and 11 go and then can sit and pounce. And I know last time was maybe a little further back than he normally likes, and it was chasing the favorite who got loose on the lead. So you could sort of forgive that and had a pretty favorable pace scenario. So I just think this one, the pace sets up a little better if this one can rate and doesn't get mixed up in it. And you get Ortiz back, who's ridden the horse, knows the horse. And I mean, it's a $600,000 horse in his 4th start. So you figure he's just getting better. And I just think the field came up a little bit light. Yeah, you see Stiglitz here, who I think we talked about that race, right? We did, right?
We did. This horse ran like a stakes winning effort, 107 buyer. Woo. 108 and change.
Took a lot of money. Yeah. and took a lot of, I don't think
Oh,
was
yeah.
the morning line favorite, and took a bunch of money and looked fantastic. So I don't think you were beating that horse on that day.
No.
So I think that I don't hold that against a horse like Vital Mind here.
I don't think there's much to add about that horse. Let's talk about some underneath horses, or maybe a horse like, oh, sorry, it's not it's him. My bad. 8-1, Paul, for Moquette and Saez. Has to step up his game. Does have some back numbers that are interesting. How do you see this horse competing in this race?
Yeah, it's a hymn. I'll be singing them on Sunday morning as I pray for the Patriots win.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I thought especially the Churchill number, I'm sure that was one of the ones you're referring to. I like the fact that Louis comes back, no disrespect to Jaime Torres. That was not a tremendous effort last time, but the horse is fairly consistent, not overly consistent. Again, I was trying to get some value underneath Howard because I really think this 5 is going to be bet down to at least that, if not, I think closer to even money. So in trying to get something close to double digits, I landed on 2 8-1 shots, second and third.
Yeah, I don't think that's stinking thinking here at all. Guys, we've talked about David Jacobson on this show, I guess, tacitly, not directly necessarily. I'm not a huge fan. I really don't want to get into it. But in this particular race, guys, with number 4 Hailstorm, you know how much I like pace projectors, and it usually works out for me when I go that direction. There's just a lot of speed in here. I think there's a lot of speed. Hailstorm was in really fine form, 2 back and 3 back. I want to just quickly show the replay here last time when he ran against Speed King, who, by the way, was won the Southwest Stakes last year and ran very well in this race that Hailstorm finished. On paper, it looks bad, but again, watch the start, guys, of Hailstorm here. Again, he was never gained the winner. Speed King was very good, but watch the number 8 here in this race. Got off to a very bad start. I'll make this as big as possible here. The 8 is right here. And if you either watch the head on or the pan, either way, broke a little slow, and then you'll see right there, he gets pinched back. He's right there in the black. And he lost, not a ton, but he lost a few lengths. Okay. Now, if you take it to the turn, I thought there was trouble again. Let me freeze it right here. He's all the way in last, which I know he's a closer, guys, but he really should not have been at last. And I thought he was ready to make a move, and he's trying to go in between horse. A little hard to see here. And he has to wait. Like right there, again, it's hard to see. He's right here. He had to wait. He's right here. He had to wait. He wanted to go earlier. He didn't. Now he's amongst horses. And in the stretch, he was making up some ground. No one was getting Speed King was long gone. He's right here, guys. And he makes up a little ground, but the jock sort of gave up on him a little bit. I'm not saying he didn't try, but he just realized he wasn't going to win. I mean, they're all off the screen. I love that camera job, by the way. Let's just focus on the horse that's winning by 6. Let's not worry about the other horses. Anyway, and he's right behind the arrow. So he's right there, just crossed the wire. Anyway, he didn't get off to a great start, guys. I thought he had a subtle bit of trouble, and I think there's a lot of speed in here. And he's got back numbers. I don't think he's going to win this race. If he does, it wouldn't completely shock me. I like the jockey change to Torres, and he's my him, Paul. He's 12-1 morning line.
Yeah.
I think he can clunk up and get a piece, or maybe even more, if Vital Mind does not fire. Now,
I have the same thing with the 6, actually. If you wanted to go to the 6 real quick. The 6 is my sort of long bomb who I wrote in my notes, I think needs a jockey change. And you could see the 1 for 24 for Har isn't exactly lighting it up. But I watched the last race and was just super. I thought the ride was bad. And I was looking more though.
She's okay. She can win some races, but this,
yeah,
there was something.
There was something about it where I just didn't like. But I like the race 2 back when going 6 at Oaklawn. So I think that's another one who just keep an eye on who could hit the board at a big number. And again, it's probably going to be the 5 on top. But if you want to play something cold, like a cold try, you want to include a couple of our bombs in there. And maybe, because I don't think we're going to talk about the 8 here for a second. I think the 8's fine. Nothing fantastic, but picks up Pratt. You see, go ahead. You were going to say something about the
Well,
8.
he's run some big races. Obviously, he gets flaky,
Yeah.
and this is going to be the clear second choice. It just feels like he needs everything to go his way. Like, and he's a yin yang horse, Pete.
Yeah.
So this might be his time to ying, right? This might be his time to run a big one. If he wins, I wouldn't be shocked at all. He's hard to trust. Let's just be honest.
The one thing I liked, if you like him here a little bit, so he went off Lasix last time, went into a stakes race and was off Lasix, hence they go hand in hand,
Good point.
and didn't run well. Now you're picking the Lasix back up, and you see the 3 races without Lasix weren't all that good. Then picked it up and was much more competitive and won some races, then went off and sort of faded late again. So maybe getting Lasix back, likes the track, likes the 6 furlongs. Definitely a logical second choice.
That you're always on top of that Lasix angle that I just don't. Well, I don't dismiss it, Pete. I just look at other things. I'm not suggesting it doesn't matter.
I don't
it's
think
just not my particular.
I don't think you can use it. Yeah, you can use it as a maybe because if it's a horse like this, who you're like, man, this horse hasn't won. There could be other circumstances, but maybe that's the reason. Who knows?
Guys, if that's the one gets in, I know he's been gone since March. He ran some big numbers against some pretty good horses in maiden races, and he's been working very steadily. Although, again, this is not weather related because this is before the weather. He does have a break in the work from December 27th to January 17th. But D'Amato is very good off the layoff here. There's only a young 4-year-old with 5 lifetime starts. I wouldn't completely dismiss the 13s. That's the one if he's in this race, guys, and if he takes money. But my sort of wise guy horse is the 4 Hailstorm. Paul likes the 10 a little bit underneath, and Pete likes the 8 possibly to upset. But we all like Vital Mind. Hard to argue that. Guys, a few quick things here before we get on to the next race. We have PPs and clock reports for Gulfstream and San Anita is available every racing day. Go to drf.com for more information. Our friends at DRF have helped us out with certain things. We appreciate their patronage very much. And also, I just want to throw a little shout out to Adelphi Racing and Matt Cuterre, sponsor of the show. Get in touch with Matt Cuterre, adelphiracing.com. Guys, they've got 2 very nice horses that are running in stake races the next few weeks. One is called 1900, a fast sprinter who's going to be running in the Tom Fool Hall up in New York. And then a horse called Gratefully, a really nice turf sprinter who's going to be running in the Wishing Well Stakes, I believe, at Santa Anita, going down the hill, I believe, relatively soon, or might be on the flat. But they've got some nice horses coming up. My horse, Twirling Beauty, ran a nice second last month, and it looks like she's on the improve again. So anyway, hats off, and shout out to Adelphi Racing. All right, guys, let's get on to race 3 of this sequence. This is the Bugler Overnight, another overnight for horses that have not won a sweepstakes other than state bred or restricted. This is for the girls. They're going 6 furlongs for 135K. Another big field of 12. Morning line favorite is the number 8, Blue Fire, a lawbred for Asterson and Jose Ortiz. And then the second choice, I just love saying this name, not a big fan of the food, Fuagra for Maker and Pratt at 3-1 is the second choice. Let me take this banner off and let's see where we are going. I'm going with an upset, guys. And I want to talk about this horse for a little bit when it's my turn. I'm going 7-5-11. Pete's going 5-8-4. And Paul's going 8-11-12. Okay, boys, this is where the pick 5 starts getting really interesting. We are all over the place. Paul, talk about the favorite here, Blue Fire, Asterson, Ortiz. Very likable sorts, and what I think is pretty wide open race, actually.
Yeah, it's the type of horse that I'd normally be trying to beat, except for that one running line that I just can't get by. The 8 Bells, which is a very good race every year on Oaks Day.
Sure is.
And this horse ran a really good second at 13-1. And, otherwise I'd be saying, okay, favorite, Louisiana bred, going into open company here. But I just can't get, the fact that it was that race, Jose was on him. I think the horse is very tactical. There is a lot of speed, though, and I'm sure you'll talk about that, including the horse you like has got some early foot right inside. But if you're going to have Julian Leproux take you to the lead. Good luck with that.
He did it for me in the contest Saturday, Pete, on a turf horse.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well,
Contro Cento.
So anyway, again, not thrilled to have this horse as the favorite, but I just couldn't get by that. That 8 Bells race wins this race for fun.
Paul, very simple question. Has Blue Fire improved since she was a 3-year-old?
That is a good question, and I would say it's pretty early. This is her second start of her 4-year-old year. Right. She won, she kind of picked up where she left off, if you will. Figures wise, no, she's right back there. But again, it's only February and it's only the second start.
Yeah, she's a very good horse. She's honest. Jose Ortiz knows how to ride this horse. She wants to be forward. Her best buyer was the last one. Actually, no, she ran an 88 early in her career, but she lives in the mid 80s. She's honest. She's no superstar. She'll probably fire here, no pun intended, and have a chance to win this race.
My worry, Paul, real quick, was the having the 7, and you'll talk about the 7, Howard, but I thought the 8 is only one going wire to wire, and that was my concern. So my concern was, does that mean the 8's going to have to clear the 7 to win? And that might be tough, as I assume Howard will get to. So that was my only concern with the 8, Paul. That was about it. But I had the horse second, but that was what knocked it down just a little bit of a peg.
Yeah, that's reasonable, Peter. Although there's 2 back, the Fairgrounds race, she did come from behind, and that Fairgrounds stretch, as you know, goes for about 12 city blocks.
Yeah, her and Secret Faith have been. I love that. Yeah. It reminds me of like the old harness days. Her and Secret Faith have they've gone head to head like 5 or 6 times and sort of go back and forth. So that's pretty cool. I always enjoy seeing that. You don't see that
guys, I gotta throw out. I think I know who this is. I think this is a student of mine. What's up, Bradley? If this is you, what's up, Bradley?
Well, if it's you, Bradley, make it. If it is a student, he's missing. Mr. before Howard Kravitz.
Well, he probably should. Brad, you're going to get a little extra homework tomorrow. Sorry about that.
He gets an A. No, he gets a guaranteed A for this.
For watching.
That's right. For the quarter, that's a given. I like.
Yeah, it. Brad, thanks for joining the show, man. I'm impressed and appreciate that. He's got his own YouTube channel, by the way, that deals with like video games and stuff. So he's a big fan of Mario. There, you can see Mario in the tag there. So what's up, Brad? Thanks for joining the show. Appreciate that. We'll make sure. Give you a little shout out tomorrow morning in class. Blue Fire's got a shot, no doubt about it. Let's talk about Fuagra, or if some younger guys were probably on the show, Fuagra. No, it's not pronounced that way. Flavian Maker Pratt, another logical horse. This one can come off it a little bit, as she did last time.
Yeah, I as you will see, not to spoil our best bets, I love this horse in this race,
let's show the replay then.
My play,
against my horse actually. Yes, my horse is the 10. Yep. Your horse is the 4. I'll let you take it from. Whoops, that doesn't work. Sorry. I will take it from like the turn. The 4, the 10 was battling. That's the horse I like, by the way. And your horse got a very nice trip and ran a nice race. Watch the 4. Taking the lead over the 10 at some point.
At some point, maybe we'll get there.
Maybe not. Well, okay. And click back.
Wait, we need to talk to our DRF friends about what's going on with the video.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. Let me try one more time. Yeah. Anyway, you can talk about the horse.
Yeah, I'll talk about the horse just in general. So I just thought one thing I like, and you see, you got the move to Maker back in November here, but. Just in great form all of a sudden. Like the horse was always pretty steady, but wasn't really necessarily winning races and was just sort of there. And then didn't run so well for a couple. Then 2 back, wins a nice race, comes back, moves to Maker. And what I like is you get the improvement. You go into a restricted stakes race, but you get the improvement from a figure standpoint, at least from a buyer standpoint. Now you come out of that race and you get 2 sort of monster works out of it too. So now when I'm looking at it, just going, maybe this horse is just all of a sudden she's hitting her stride and she really figured out who she is, or maybe they figured out how to ride her. Maybe it's nice having Eric Asmussen off the horse, and now you're getting some different jocks up.
Ouch.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying I don't know, but there was but he won on her 2 back, so that's more of a joke than anything. But I like even the fact that she dropped Lasix last time and still improved and was still good, and now you're getting Pratt up 2, so you trust the trip. She's 2 for 2 in the top 2 at Oaklawn, so she definitely likes it here. I just think there's a ton to like, and I think this horse is on the improve, and I think she might just keep going up. And if she goes up, I think she beats this field.
Not only that, Pete, she's won at 7-1 and 12-1 her last 2. You're not getting that on Friday.
No,
However,
and I think the 7 was deserved too, because she was sort of going the wrong way for a bit there. So I think that was deserved. And then maybe the 12 was, now she's moving up into stakes. And maybe the 12 was warranted, but I like the way she ran, regardless of. I think she got a nice trip, but I think she's the kind of horse that can get that trip too.
Yes, I believe so, guys. I like to take some chances in this game. I think and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I looked very, very deep into the number 7, Karina. Guys, I like this horse quite a bit. I really do. 10-1 morning line. Let's talk about the negatives. The negatives are that, unless she gets loose, she probably doesn't win. She has given up in her last 2. She's not exactly a big, major win type. She is 3 for 13. And if you don't like Leparoux, I suppose that's a negative also. I don't really have a problem with him in certain situations. And actually, he can win on a speed horse, believe it or not. The positives to me here, guys, far outweigh the negatives. Let me talk about this horse for a little bit, and then we'll just go on to the next race, the big one. Karina, number 7. At 10-1. Her last 2 races, guys, she was caught in absolutely wicked speed duels. 3 back, she actually won nicely with an 86 buyer in 109 and change. Let's talk about the last 2 races, okay? 2 back at Churchill. Wicked pace duel. The horse that she was battling with, guys, is a horse named Grand Job. You know that horse? We know that horse. Grand Job, of course, guys, won the inside information in her next start with Junior with a 100 buyer. Grand Job is very, very, very fast, way faster early than anyone in this race. Grand Job had the inside, and Karina just got caught in a speed duel. And you know what? Grand Job, guys, ended up finishing last in that race, and Karina beat her by several lengths. Okay, now she only finished 5th. I get it. Something to keep in mind. That to me was a interesting kind of situation. Then you go to the last race, right? Again, a lot of speed, major speed. Look, 21-1. What? 44 and change. Who was she battling on? That's the Fuagra race. Who was she battling, guys? Towards the lead. In second there, where is it? Look who was in second at first call. Sorry, look at the bottom of the screen. Kayana. Where did Kayana finish? Last. Guys, the last 2 starts, the horse she's been battling, they both finished last, and she beat both of them easily, including a stakes winner. Here's my feeling. I'm hoping Karina obviously is going to show speed. I'm hoping she breaks great. I'm hoping she gets to the top. And maybe horses like Blue Fire are like, she's going to quit. She's going to stop, right? Blue Fire doesn't pass horses really that much either, Pete. Can Fuagra win? Of course she can win. But, she got a perfect setup last time. Grant, she ran great. If Karina, guys, can somehow find a way to get loose early, doesn't have to be just 21-4, but not being breathed upon. We've talked about this a lot. Guys, I got a feeling she could get loose and be a serious danger at around, I'll say 8-1. Depending on the board and gut feel, this might be one of my plays of the day on Friday. I am very interested in Karina because she's a battler. Even when she is involved in fast paces, guys, she doesn't give it up that easily. I just think she's really interesting in this race. Thoughts, then we'll move on to the big one.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I seriously considered that horse, but I just thought from a win end, I thought she's just up against it with that 8 right to her
Too
outside too. That was my concern. But I think she's a great board horse, and I think she can win though under the circumstances you laid out, where if nobody goes and they just let her run free and she's not she's just not getting killed early by the
Yeah.
pressure.
They're
then
going
I
to
think
go.
she
They're going to go a
definitely
decent
wins.
pace.
Yeah.
They're going to go a decent pace, Paul, but they don't have to like go head to head crazy with the and she's going to be 4 times the price. So it's one of those horses, Paul, that we've all bet that you'll know in the first like 5 seconds if she has a chance.
Yeah, and I don't see them. I think she probably will go. I don't think the 8 does have to be on the lead, Pete, despite those lines. Based
I
on the
agree.
race 2 back, the race 2 back tells me that she doesn't have to be on the lead. She ran fine there. She just got nabbed late.
And I think Jose, Paul, and Peter is going to be content just sitting off, thinking I'm the better
I agree.
animal. I'm not sure she will be the better animal. Anyway, we'll see. Karina, the number 7 in race 10, I'm very interested in as of now, but 16 hours before the race. Let's go to the big one, guys. The Southwest Stakes, $1 million on the line. This is 20 points to the winner, 10 points for second to the Kentucky Derby. It's not going to get anyone into the Derby field, but will definitely make a dent into someone's ability in a positive way to get into the starting gate. A mile to 16th, monster field. It's listed as 14. We all know number 5 litmus test for Baffert is out. His other one, Butane, the number 3, is in. These odds are obviously going to change quite a bit on everyone. The favorite will be Dakota at 3-1. Ray Ashford, Saez. I'm guessing, guys, somewhere around, I think could be as low as 8-5 post time because the 99 buyer he ran. Let's see what we're doing here in this very interesting race. I'm going with another 7 horse. I'm going 7-11-2. Pete's going 9-2-4. And look at this, Pete and Paul. Very much simpatico. 9-2-7 for Paul. Guys, strategic risk. I did not like last time. I was wrong. She got a dream trip. That being said, she ran very well, and she's now won her he's won his last He's won his last 2 races by open lengths. I think this is by far his toughest test. Pete, what do you like about the Florida bred for Mr. Cassie and Castellano?
Yeah, one thing you like to see is when a horse really improves and there's something that changed and you could maybe hope that was the reason for the improvement. And you look here, once they disregarding the with anticipation because that was on the turf and I don't know what they were doing there really, but disregarding that, when they put this horse and they stretched him out finally on the dirt, you see the last 2, he exploded. And I mean, you said last one, he didn't really have much pace, but he got a great trip, just sort of sitting off a slow pace, which is fantastic. But I like the improvement there. So you're saying now we have 2 races routing. We improved in the second one. We're getting a little better, went from restricted to open company and still rolled the field. Is tactical enough to be relatively close. And I think there's some pace here. So I think there's definitely going to be some pace. We have some horses stretching out for the first time. So we'll see if some of those go out and then come back to the field a little bit. So I think maybe you're just catching this one. You could be just catching this one on the upswing. And in a race like this, maybe this is where it really shows out against a little bit better company than maybe he faced. Well, he's facing similar horses, but there's some better ones in here now to go head to head with. And I like the win over the track. And I like, again, the 2 for 2 going this distance. And they were routes. And I really think we're catching this one. And Mark Cassie, by the way, you see, look at that line, 11 for 23 wins, 19 for 23 in the money, just on fire at this meet. So his horses are running on all cylinders. So Paul, what do you think? You got anything else on this one you want to add in?
I think I'd love to see at this point in his career to see Javier Castellano have a legitimate Derby horse.
That'd be nice, right? Yeah.
I really would. He's just, they don't make him any better guys than that. And I agree. This horse is just put together 2 convincing wins. I kind of like, Pete, though, that the speed figure improvement was, nothing crazy, gradual, which leads me to believe that there is still room to keep moving forward. Cassie knows what he's doing, obviously. He had the obligatory turf stakes in Saratoga. Mark moves them back and forth between turf and dirt more than anyone. See Nitrogen for details. So, I think this horse is would be a pretty good bet at 4-1 or 9-2. Now, look, the 2 could be a monster. If the 2 is going to go forward off of 99, then,
Yeah,
we're
everybody's
all
running
running
for
for second.
Yeah.
Correct.
What odds you guys think you're getting post time with strategic risk? He's obviously going to be much lower with litmus test. I think we're looking at 3-1 second
3-1.
second choice.
I think 3-1. Yeah.
Even maybe 7-2 potentially. Baffert
Okay.
takes money.
Why don't you guys talk about Dakota, who I have third? Look, if you like horse racing, there's nothing not to like about Dakota's
Right.
debut. He was fantastic. He ran 9-9 Buyer. He accelerated through the lane. He looked like a stakes horse. This is a twirling candy who obviously can get 2 turns. Spitestown is interesting. Spitestown won the Breeders' Cup sprints, and everyone thinks he's a very sprinty sire pedigree. Not necessarily. Spitestown can get a mile, maybe a mile and a 16th. This is not a derby. This is not a 9 furlong or a 10 furlong panel kind of pedigree, but enough to maybe get loose in this race and win. I'm against him for a lot of reasons, but I respect him, guys. What's your thought, Pete, on Dakota, who will be the favorite in this race?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously when and Paul likes to mention this, when you're doing something new, and now you're talking about stretching this horse out, you're doing something new, and you're maybe a decent sized favorite. That's always a little bit scary. You're going from a maiden win at 6 furlongs to now going into a grade 3 at 8.5. I think that's at least a little bit concerning if this horse takes a bunch of money. And I do think the pedigree, I don't love the pedigree if we're talking Derby and we're talking, beyond this, maybe Arkansas Derby
Right.
even, but at a mile.
But we're not. We're talking about today.
Yeah, exactly.
Friday.
That's the thing. You can't handicap the race as if we care about whether he's a Derby contender. I don't give a crap today. That doesn't matter when this race runs. So
here's the mama that we see on the screen. I mean, she was just a pure sprinter.
Yeah, she was a pure sprinter. And I mean, you talked about Spitestown, but I think Spitestown can get a mile and a 16th with no Spitestown horses.
The dam actually did drop a long-winded Japanese horse, but that was not this time. So this one is a Spitestown.
Yeah, the top side had more there.
Right.
So this is a weird one. So again, from a pedigree standpoint, it's questionable at least, right? And I think that's where you're probably going to go.
Well, the other thing, guys,
you're going to knock the horse, right? You're going to say that's maybe where you get him.
I suppose he can win. He's doing something he's never done before, and he's going to be a pretty heavy favorite here. There's a lot of other speed in this race. I don't know if the 1 is quick enough, but if the 2 doesn't break like perfectly, the 1 is certainly capable of getting in front of him. There's outside horses, guys, that have speed. Also, they absolutely have to go. You think Baffert's not going at least a little bit with Butane? I mean, that's all that horse. That's all the Bafferts do in general. And by the way, Butane I don't like at all, not even for a penny. I like Dakota a little bit just because I respect his talent. I don't like the spot. This reminds me a little bit of what happened to Cornucopian last year in the Arkansas Derby. Now, I know that was a grade 1. It's a different situation, but it's also not, right? It's a horse stretching out, going right into stake races, going to be overbet. He's like the bee's knees. He's the buzz. Guys, I don't like Dakota. I'm going to use him defensively. I just don't like him. To me, this race could easily fall apart because I think the 1's going. I think Butane is not slow, but he's not necessarily at speed, a real speed type. There's other horses. Strategic Risk is going to rate a little bit. Bricklin, the 10, has to go at least a little bit. Baytown Dreamer is really only one chance, and that's to try to send, but he's really not fast enough either. Soldier and Diplomat has to go. I think he's going to be very quick out of there, the 13 for Asterson. So it just feels like there's a lot of speed in here, guys. And I'm going back to my buddy Liberty National. Liberty National got a brutal start last time in the gun runner, got shut off. I thought there should have been an inquiry. I was sort of pissed about it, to be very honest. Did ride the rail the rest of the race, guys, but it was an honest pace, but the rail was not the place to be. Lost several lengths early, made up a ton of ground late, and I thought ran very credible. McPeak said he's in better shape. He's working like it, guys. I think the race sets up for him. I like Liberty National here. Not only creative, because I've seen a lot of wise guys, sort of people, take this horse, and he's going to be 5-1 now, not 10-1. I think he's interesting. And the other horse I have to mention, guys, then I'll let you finish, and we'll get to the last race. Silent Tactics should sound familiar to you guys. This is a horse that I tipped out last month. Last month in the Smarty Jones on this show. And he was also a spot play, guys, and he ran very well at 14-1 against your horse, who got an absolute dream trip. I thought Silent Tactic was the only one making any kind of move in that race. He's now used to the dirt. It's the other Cassie. I think Silent Tactic is very dangerous here if they go quick early. My general thought here, guys, is I'm going to try to beat the favorites with some closers. It's rare that I don't like in a stake race the lower price horses at all to win. I don't like Dakota to win. I don't like Butane to win. And so I'm going to try to upset with some horses. Your thoughts, guys, on either one of those closers, and then we will move on. Or Pete, you can talk about your 4 also if you want.
Yeah, no, the 4 was I liked the 4 a little bit last out, and everything went wrong in that race. And you don't need to bring up the PPs or anything.
Rancho
but
Santa Fe
had showed some ability in the first 2. Now, again, from a figure standpoint, there's a lot to be desired. So I think the win the win end is pretty tough here. But I thought the last race, if you just watched it, was broken last, was wide, and was trying to close then. After all of that, was trying to close into a crawling pace. None of that was ever going to happen. So I just think this is one. Now you pick up Pratt, and it's a Brad Cox horse. I think this is one that I think that last one is going to drive the price up. But I think there may be a little bit more there. It just may be a lot more than he can chew. But I don't know.
And he's been working at Fairgrounds, Pete, and Pratt gets on. Like, there's some angles here that are – so he hasn't missed training time. Cox still has faith in the horse, and Pratt jumps on. This is a very interesting horse. I don't know if he can win, Pete, but if he runs like a bang-up second at like 18-1, I wouldn't be surprised.
Me too. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, I that's why I put this horse, because it was actually really between him and the 7 in that third spot. But I wanted to talk about the 4. So I'm like, I'll just put the 4 in, and hopefully we'll get to the 7 as well. So I kind of like both of them in the mix.
I just want to mention our good friend Jackson Muniz actually thought the 6 was a little bit interesting at 30-1. So I think a lot of people are trying to find that upside horse. Paul, do you want to talk about either the closers, you have the 7 and 3rd, Liberty National, but we're not getting 10-1, my friend.
Yeah, no, I had him as a B, and I may have to upgrade him after listening to Professor Kravitz.
Well,
yeah, no, I thought this was for the reason you laid out, just race flow wise, I thought that this horse had a pretty good chance. So at least a B for me.
I mean, look, maybe Dakota just wires the field, and I'm trying to see something that's not there, guys. I would never bet a horse like that at those odds in this race, unless there wasn't a lot of pace, and there is a lot of speed, at least on paper. So I actually think, in a weird way, we'll go on the last race, guys. In a weird way, I think the number 13, Soldier and Diplomat, is the key to the race. Because I don't know if the 1 is quick enough to go with the 2, but I think the 13 is. And the only reason they would be in this race, guys, and decide to stay in the race, is they know they have to go and sit off to code. Like, they have no other choice. So if the 13 breaks, guys, I think we could see a definitely an honest pace of not a fast pace. There's like 20 comments. I can't get to all of them. But Mike Saletta, who actually won a big contest this past weekend, I think, or was it today? Recently. Congratulations, Mike. I know you won something. Butane after Liberty National and Silent Tactic. So he likes Butane. Interesting. Butane was supposed to be in the Holy Bowl, by the way, guys. Couldn't get a plane down there, so comes to Arkansas instead. He just feels like 3rd or 4th string to me for Baffert, guys. And Baffert's done this before at Oaklawn in these earlier Oaklawn races. When it gets to the Rebel or the Arkansas Derby, look out for Baffert. These earlier time in the winter races for Baffert, he's disappointed. Let's go to last race, guys. Last race is starter allowance, 12.5. They're going a mile and 1/8. Another big field. Moreline favorite is Money Run, the 12. Let's see where we're going to close out this very, very challenging pick 5. I'm going 2-12-10. Pete's going 12-2-10. Same try, different order. Paul's going 6-10-2. Money Run has a brutal post, Pete, but he's in good form and he's got speed to get to a good position if it works out.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, the post is was probably the most concerning part. But the one thing I liked, if you look, so Sources run 2 times going the 9 furlongs. I mean, he's a 6-year-old, so he's got a bunch of races under his belt, but he's only gone, they just started stretching him out the last 5, you can see there, and they're getting incrementally longer. And the 1-3 back, you could completely toss that reared at the gate really badly. I mean, just basically jumped up and was just done. And then, so that one, I think maybe throws you off the scent a bit. Came back, didn't do a ton, two back. But then last time, I just thought was really impressive. Now, got to the lead, which again might be a little tough from here. But you're talking about a lifetime buyer top at 6 in his 29th race, which is just an interesting kind of fact. So I think there's still some, and the reason at least there's a little bit of improvement because now we're stretching out in distance a little bit more. So at least it's not just like, man, that came out of nowhere. Maybe it came from, maybe the distance is going to be this horse's friend a little bit. Now, again, maybe needs to break, maybe needs to go. All the wins on the page are wire to wire. So from the 12 hole, that's a little bit tough.
Yeah.
But that's why I think I don't know if I like this horse as much. If he was like in the 6 hole, I would like him a ton more. But I still I think that race gave me enough confidence just to put him on top in what I think is a relatively tough race.
Guys, I like the number 2 Bright Spark quite a bit. I don't think he's going to be 8-1. I think we're looking to more like 4-1. There's a ton of speed on the outside in this race. And Bright Spark, after a long layoff, was in for 5, which is a major red flag. But you know what? One easily and then one easily again up to 10. They just keep bumping him back up, and he's got a great post. He's got back class. He's got numbers that fit. I just have no reason not to like this horse. I guess you can question the trainer change. That is fair to say, but you know, he's a early 7-year-old. It's not like he's completely done for his career. And I just like the way this race sets up for Bright Spark quite a bit. I know, Pete, you've got him second. Paul, you've got him in the mix. We don't really need to talk more about him. I just think he's very logical here. And unlike a lot of the other contenders, Paul, he does not need the lead.
One thing, Howard, we don't talk about much with that horse is his pace figures, his time form figures. He consistently goes up, whereas a lot of horses go down at the end. He goes up and he ends on his best. So he generally seems to be running well late, and he runs sort of an efficient race all the way through. That's why I sort of liked him in second. I think there's a lot more. Maybe there's a lot more there, and he's going to be at the 9 furlongs. I think he'll be okay. Which he's
I think that extra 16th, or that extra distance, supposedly 1.70 miles or 1.16 miles. Might be the key. We shall see. My Noble Knight, Paul, was very wide last time. I mean, wide as wide can be. He's an in and outer, but when he's good, he's good.
Yeah, he's 50% in the exactor. I just think he really fits in the class of the race and in the speed figure. He's almost faster than anyone. I'm just looking up. The 9 ran a huge number. I'm trying to see how many years ago it was. No, it was in, it was in 23. Yeah. So, so other than that, I mean, this horse, I think it's a pretty evenly matched field. And I think, Howard, it's going to be one of those sequences that if you are alive into this race and you don't have a lot of coverage, you're going to be biting your fingernails type of thing. But again, I thought at 5-1 was honest. I think Rosario will fit this horse okay. He almost won at 1 1/8 in the slot at Keeneland. Did not run well at all last time. But I just, I think in an evenly matched field, I think this horse has got I think he has a good shot anyway. And at 5-1, I think it's more than fair.
The breaks can be really interesting because the number 7, Nameless, has speed. Gasoline has speed. Eastside Cool, the 10, has speed. Gewürztraminer, who I bet last time was absolutely awful, has a lot of speed. I don't know what happened to him last time, but he's got numbers. The 12's got speed. Guys, it's a tough way to close out this very challenging late pick 5. Let's get to our best bets. Let's go to Paul first. You're going right to race 10 with a pick 3. You're going to single the 8 with 2, 7, 9 with 6.
Yes, I took a shot in that 10th race that we talked about that was kind of, we agreed there were different ways you could go. I just kept it to Blue Fire. I went with I did throw Dakota in the sequence defensively, but the 7 and 9 I think are both okay prices, and I think this horse to end it would be okay.
Based on the weather, by the way, that's the favorite in the Southwest is very appropriately named Duck Code, because I've had Dakota. I just got over Dakota last week. Anyway, sorry, that's the Chicago to me. You can take the boy out of Chicago, but you can't take the Chicago out of the boy, although I'm still in Chicago. So anyway, I'm blabbing. Pete, you're going to race 10. You're going with Fuagra, and you're going to key him in a try box. I think just for people at home, you can explain that bet. You're going 5 with 3, 4, 7, 8, 11.
Yeah, that's basically just where you get the 5 and you get the 5 in all 3 trifecta spots, and
Yep.
obviously the other 2 need to be 2 of those other 5, the 3, 4, 7, 8, 11. Yeah, like I said, I have a win bet on the 5 too. I really just liked that horse and figured there were a few double-digit odds, 12 to 15 to 1 shots in that race that I liked to hit the board. So that's why I was like, I like to try key box here because I think there's a shot for including year 7. So again, if we can get like Anarchina,
I appreciate that.
if I'm pronouncing that name right, but I like that horse. There was the other one that I liked. There was a couple in there that I think maybe we could surround the 5 with some prices, and maybe we can get lucky with the try, especially if we can get one of the favorites out.
I like it. I'm going to go with Karina. I believe in this horse. I'll know in the first 3 or 4 seconds in race 10, the number 7, if she has a shot at all. Look, I always do my homework. You guys do your homework. I just think it's fascinating. This horse in the last 2 starts, the horse that she's been battling finished in last, and she was much better than both of them, including a stakes winner. I just think she's dirtied up. And if she can somehow get loose even for a little bit, I think she's interesting. And then in the big one, guys, I'm going to use the 7 and the 11, Liberty National, and boy, I'm drawing it on. And who's the 11? Silent Tactic.
Yeah, it starts with an S.
I want one of those guys to finish in the money. If one of those finish in the money, and then I'm sort of similar, I'm going to surround myself with other horses and try to get, I'd love to get both of them in the money, but which I will have if that happens. So I'm going to play them in all spots and then also use them in other spots. So instead of a single tri-key, basically, Pete and Paul, it's a double tri-key, right, with 2 horses. So that costs more money, obviously, but I'm not going to have a ton of horses on the win end, I don't think. If they're not going to win, I'm only going to have like 2 or 3 at the very most that can win, which will lower my ticket. Before I wrap up the show, a little production meeting in the middle of the show. Paul, I have like a 5-second rant. If you don't have a rant, or even if you do, is there anything you'd like to say this evening, Paul?
No, I hadn't really thought of a rant. That was off my game with the Thursday, Friday versus Thursday, Saturday.
Yeah.
I'd like to, could I shamelessly say that 3 months from today exactly, my book will be released? Is that okay if I say that?
Which book, Paul? I don't even know what you're talking. Oh, the one that's right behind you. Guys, there it is.
You guys are gonna get tired of hearing about it. I'm gonna, as I said to Leslie Dorman on the phone today, I said I'm gonna get tired of listening to me.
It's very exciting.
It's a long way off, but just a little hint. On May 21st, the very first speaking engagement for the book will be at the venerable Keeneland Library.
I heard.
And I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, no, Paul, it's amazing. We'll get more information on Paul's book as it gets closer and closer. We're gonna have some giveaways too, Paul. You gotta remind me that we need to talk about that for our wonderful viewers.
All the
and
info's
listeners.
on the website too. If anybody wants to buy,
thank you, Pete.
All the links are there, so go on there, and under publications, I think you can find all the info and you can buy that book now.
Guys, I'll go very quick with my rant of the week. With a rant of the week, I'll put myself on full screen. There's news coming out of Chicago and Hawthorne Racecourse that unfortunately it looks like, guys, within the next, I would say, 7 to 10 days, might be the very end of horse racing in Chicago, period. Unless one of 2 things happens, unless someone buys the property and has the money to, keep the track and maybe put a casino there, which was supposed to be there several years ago. Either that or Hawthorne supposedly, but they've been saying this for years, has a casino operator in mind and can actually get that going because they don't have the money right now. There's been checks that's bouncing, and I hate to end on a negative tonight when it's such a great show, but we already saw Arlington close. We've seen the Bears might not even go. The Chicago Bears might not even go to Arlington now. It's just a god-awful mess. I feel awful for all great Chicago racing fans, and there are a ton of them not only that live here, but throughout the country, guys. A lot of them watch, a lot of them watch this show. A lot of them are some of the best contest players in the world, as Paul would know for sure. There's Hall of Fame handicappers from Chicago. It's just been a hotbed for years, guys, of horse racing on a lot of levels. And it's just a real damn shame. I hope some miracle can be pulled out of the hat, but it does not look good. It doesn't look good at all for Chicago racing. I don't want to say Illinois, because Fairmont is actually down by St. Louis, is actually making some positive strides. They hope to build a turf course down there in the next year or two. They said their handle's actually up when they race, but that's in St. Louis, guys. That's 6 hours away from here. So I'm not really asking for your guys' opinion unless you want to say anything. It's just, again, for the third largest market, Paul, to not have any horse racing is just, it's awful, and it's hard to imagine. It really is.
Howard, I feel your pain, having lived through it 7 years ago now.
Brutal. Can't believe it's been that long. Anyway, the positives, of course, are we've got an incredible Friday of racing. The whole weekend's good. New York did close Saturday and Sunday. Again, really cold weather again up in your area, Paul. I don't know about Boston as much as New York, but some bad wind chills. But you'll be inside watching the Super Bowl, so you don't need to worry about that. But there's great racing throughout the country, especially tomorrow, Friday. So for Pete Visco and Paul Howard, my good friends and co-hosts, this has been your host, Howard Kravitz, and it's been episode 453. Ladies and gentlemen, crush your bets at Oaklawn for the tremendous Pick 5 tomorrow, Friday, Southwest Stakes Day. Stick around for Wire to Wire in about 25 minutes for the Coast to Coast Pick 5. Take care, everyone. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.